welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're on another episode of the Knuckle Head Podcast. I'm your co-host, Quan.
I am your co-host, Malcolm, a.k.a. King Mal. Let's go.
Let's get it, guys. Man, we here.
Yes, sir.
We here.
I'm so excited.
Man, we halfway through season 1, man. This is going to be another good episode. So, in spite of everything that we're doing now, right, I think it's really big that we really touch on this point. One episode, I think this is what, 5 or 6?
I have no idea. We've been going.
Yeah, man, we working for y'all in the lab, so I think this is like 5 or 6. But essentially, what we wanted to discuss today is an important topic, especially with along the lines of the business that we've done and experience we have. Is this pivotal question, right? How do businesses, whether small or large, generate traffic?
Whew.
Right. So when you think about traffic, you think it's a couple of elements you're thinking about. You're thinking about client retention, obviously. You're thinking about bringing value and bringing consistent client retention to your business. So when you hear this phrase or this word, what does traffic mean to you?
Traffic means how do I consistently make sure I pay my bills?
Right. At the end of the day, right, we're here for a profit.
Right. How do I consistently stay with the now? How do I consistently keep moving in an upward direction? And how do I look at it from a standpoint of bringing people that are not in my industry into my industry?
Right.
So, I generating traffic. I love talking about this conversation. Now, oh man, hey, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
What do you have? I'm hyped, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm hyped.
Long way. So, all right. So for me, I think when I think about generating traffic, it's typically 3 pillars that come to my mind, right? Mm-hmm. And those are value, right? Obviously, what's your product or service that you're bringing to the market or bringing to the industry and what makes it unique, right? Proxy, meaning proximity. Where is this product? Is this a specific product? For example, if you're selling houses or you're looking to buy houses in a specific area, obviously in that example, that area, that proximity is where you're going to focus a lot of your time at, right? And obviously the last one would be clients, right? You can't do anything without an ultimate goal of either obtaining new clients or keeping the clients you have moving forward.
Right.
So those are 3 pillars that I believe, really allow you to achieve the success of generating more additional traffic. How about yourself?
No, I agree 100%. And I do feel, and a lot of individuals, they don't notice this, but they do it too. Mm-hmm. Generating traffic, you can't generate traffic or you can't grow your business by yourself. I've
100%.
never seen a millionaire become a millionaire alone.
100%.
You know what I mean? So it's what we were talking about earlier, outsourcing. You know what I mean? Outsourcing, being able to get people within or people that's in your industry or outside the industry, but mainly people that are stronger when you're weak, that have more strength in certain aspects than you do, bringing them in. Or you can do it. You can try to do it yourself. I will be talking to you 10 years from now. I was trying to start this up.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But being able to outsource and bring in someone that has that expertise to help you get to that next level quickly.
So now, playing devil's advocate, right? If I'm a business owner and, like you said, outsourcing, how do you express the importance of that? If I'm like, man, I don't really want to spend the money on that. I can do it myself. Why do I need to go out to outsource when this is something I can do? A lot of times, especially with small business owners, they're like, I don't need a social media. I don't need that, right? Like, I've been doing this business for so long. Why do I need to outsource and get a social media manager or something? That's a waste of money. And to that, you say what?
So I say this. Think of, you remember JCPenney's, right? Rule 21. You heard of them before? Rule 21. You heard of Red Lobster, right? You notice a lot of those businesses are not really doing too well.
Right. The transition.
Right. So the online world is where it is. But if you don't have the smarts or the understanding of how to navigate the online world, you're going to take small steps that's going to cost you a lot more money. So let's do the money. So you're going to time to learn this, you're going to put in countless of hours when you could be focusing on something else. So say your time is worth $100. Let's say for the past 6 months, you've been putting in like 8 hours a day. That's $800 a day for 6 months. You spent. That's a lot of money. You're not even going to do the math.
Right.
But someone's trying to teach you something. Hey, for my time, $3,000. They cut everything in half and they did it for you, and they're doing it for you to get you to your destination faster.
Right.
Which one makes more sense? You doing it on your own, and I get it. We want to be self-efficient, but self-efficient doesn't mean stubborn.
Right. Right. I mean, no, I think that's a really good point. I think a good example of this was, Blockbuster, right? Like,
yeah.
man, when Blockbuster came into the scene, I remember growing up as a kid. That was the spot, right? You go in, it was a whole experience. You hear fresh popcorn being cooked.
Oh,
you got all types of video games, new releases, movies. The whole candy, the whole 9 yards.
everything.
And
Video
a lot
games.
and it's funny because like our children and the generation that comes behind us, they're not going to know what a Blockbuster is. Like that whole experience is just dumbfounding them. But I think where and it's been documented where Blockbuster made a mistake was they didn't outsource, right? They didn't understand that this new wave of Netflix, right? This new way of digital media and how strong of a presence that was going to disrupt the industry was going to put them in a position where it's like, I don't really need to go, that your experience is valued, but the convenience, right? I think they underestimated that convenience of, hey, you know what? You can go and watch 100 movies that we have in our catalog. You don't need to go out your house to do that. And I think, like you said, that digital era, especially that we're living in now, is so prominent. If you don't have the expertise and you're a small business, it benefits you or behooves you to understand if at the basic level how to market your business, how to hire the correct expert, because everybody's now, nowadays an expert, but really hiring those people that can complement your business to help you with that transition, or you're going to run into being another Blockbuster situation.
100%. I agree 1,000%. Even with that, the individuals that feel like I don't need anyone, if you ever paid attention, they're overly working, and what I mean by that is they're always just do nonstop to the point where they can't actually put those hours of knowledge, hours of grinding, trying to figure out and apply it to actually movement. So it's just running in one place, not getting to no destination. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that's what those individuals that say I don't need a social media person, or I don't need someone to outsource or anything like that. But on the other end, those people that may not be running as fast as that person running in place, but they're jogging or maybe sometimes walking, they're getting closer to their destination. Why? Because they're like, hey man, I'm not good with writing contracts, but you the man. I need you. Hey, it costs what, 10,000? All right, is there a way I can do 2,000 and I can do payments? All right, well, that means I go from this point to this point. I'm still moving. I'm still moving. When individuals start looking at things that way, their businesses will actually start going forward into that 10x, into that next level, to that client generating traffic. But it's just, we live in a world that either you do it
or you get left behind in a sense.
And I'm okay with leaving them.
So, like, kind of, he don't got no picks, man. All business, never personal. Trust and believe. But speaking about that, right, now we're kind of diving into, like, marketing and things like that. How important is it to really identify, one, your industry niche and your market approach? And especially, seeing as you have so much experience with the marketing and, deciding an approach, what has been the best value that you've got from your experience dealing with those two components?
Got you. So we all want to say, I want to help everybody. You cannot you cannot help everybody. And you're gonna stress yourself out because you're gonna run into every niche, I can't say it, excuse me, is different. Like going to people that have like this, say a bunch of money, and then you're helping those that may not have much money. The mindset with them are different, and you're gonna stress yourself out trying to reach all of them. But when you focus, and one of the things that I do is I break down, I have like certain questions. Okay, so what audience do I want? Like what demographic do I want? What's the annual income of this demographic? You know what I mean? Like I break it down to the point where I know that I'm not going to get 5,000 for this. I know that I'm going to have to spit 500. There's going to have to be 500 for this. But I know if I reach out to the masses, my audience is going to be larger. Right. Looking at it from that standpoint, say say if you have Selfie World, we'll use that.
Okay.
You got to understand that a lot of adults with no kids are not your audience.
Right.
So what do? Your marketing should target
Families as
family,
opposed to
little kids. Why is it fun? The picture should be there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Selfie World, your audience are not going to be the people that are not on social media as much, but you have
Right.
these influencers. What does that look like? Hey, influencer, let's collab.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on something.
Mm-hmm.
Bring, you know what I mean? Like, you got to look at it from a standpoint of who's who and why your company makes sense. So for those that are looking at this, look at it from a standpoint of who has the most, like, who has the problem that every day they wake up is a problem. If they don't have an everyday problem, they may not be your client. I kid you not. If they don't have that everyday problem, they may not be your client, because what's going to happen is you're going to start trying to pull the solution when you already have it, if they don't have an everyday problem. Now, if you want more, reach out to. No,
There you go with the plug-in. He had me going too. I'm like, oh man, sponsored by. Oh man, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. So, kind of piggyback to our conversation. Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. But it sounds like you're saying, like, it's a couple things you got to keep in mind, right, when you're deciding how to generate more traffic if you haven't already. Mm-hmm. You have to understand what your niche is. You got to understand how, okay, based off this niche, what's going to be the best and most effective approach to complement. To your point, like, if you're looking at opening up a business like Selfie, where your main focus is really the experience of social media and in the interaction in that experience, then you have to find ways to target the audience that's susceptible to that, that's focused on that. Like you said, you have influencers, you have these people who can move the needle and kind of collab with you to generate that more traffic. So once you identify your niche, you identify your market approach, and again, like you said, you understand who's the best outsourcing expert for your particular business, it puts you in a better way to help you generate more traffic.
100%. Bro, just to add on to that, if you have a Selfie World, here's the game. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna just lay it out, right? One, you should have not just you being in the office, right? There's sometimes it's okay, and everyone's different, so don't hold this to me. But sometimes it's okay to have someone work in the actual building, or have someone out in the streets. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of events that go on in every state, every county, everywhere. One, I would be at the dog events. Hey, they have things coming up. Hey, I'm doing something special for dogs. Come by. It's only this amount. Give them a certain time. Hey, I'm giving, if it's $50, say if it's $50 to do the selfie. Hey, what I'm doing is I'm actually doing it right now for $40. But you're out there reaching and talking to the people at that event and getting them into your area and letting them know that when they come in to ask for you, because you want to make sure that you put them on your social media. But what you want to do on social media is actually get to the point where you're friends with people that have dogs, that have influencers, that have a large following. So the people in the out there, connect to them, their dog's there. Wow, my dog actually made this influencer's page. Not just dogs. Let's keep going. You got babies. Boom, your children, same thing. They have kids events. Go out there and set up an area, just an area. Sometimes you got to invest money to make money. Set up an area and have the kids come do a Selfie World in there, and let them know, hey, come to my establishment, and I'm going to help you out and give you a discount. I want to go ahead and feature you with boom, whatever they are, because you built partnerships. You want me to keep going? Man.
He's dropping jewels.
So even then you take it further, and then what you do is now you have a bunch of college students. They love to have fun, but what do they love the most? Social media. Don't just have them come take pictures, but like, hey, I need kids or college students, young adults, to come out and do the new dance or the new trend or whatever's on social media. You know what they said, that little, those dances, come do it. I'm gonna give y'all a discount, but what's gonna happen is if y'all friends, see, this is another thing that I'm bringing to the table. We can go on after this, I promise you. Now, they come and say if it's $50, but you give them, hey, you come in for 30 for college discount, however you want to word it. But hey, if your friends come in, it's gonna be 40, but what I'm gonna do is give you an affiliate of 10. So that $10 go to you. So now they have their own little layout where they're bringing their friends paying 40, but they're getting money. College student needs what? Money.
Whole time.
They're doing trends with social media is helping them get paid. So if you show them that, that's a different conversation. And you're showing them how to get money being an affiliate. What are they doing for you? They're out there marketing your business at their college. Their friends coming to town, everything. And next thing you know, your place is so full, and you have to say, hey, come back later. We're overly booked at the moment. Mm-hmm. But who am I?
Okay, so he just gave you a lot of information to unpack there. But to summarize it, market affiliation and also making the most of every opportunity, right? He gave you a lot of knowledge. Definitely go back and listen to this. You know, if you miss anything, because I know when he gets excited, like I just let him go. If you notice, I'm just sitting here, I'm writing those down myself. But speaking on that, let's pivot a little bit. So now that we kind of got an understanding of the outsourcing part, right, and leveraging expertise and understanding your niche, understanding your marketing approach, let's talk a little bit about actually drawing traffic to your business, right? So we talked about the first component. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk about drawing traffic, how do you determine how to draw traffic to your business? What are the questions, or what are some of the tools or tactics you've used to generate either traffic that led to, a growth in profit?
Got you.
Or revenue, should say rather.
Every niche. I always mess that word up. It's going to be different. I'll be real with you. Mm-hmm. There are some where being knowledgeable. Like I remember, I was in the credit industry, mm-hmm. Going out, giving knowledge when it came to credit, mm-hmm. and say I'll do an interview, but asking you questions. But the masses are looking. Now I'm the guru. Right now
you're the subject expert.
Right. So when it comes to an educational side of it, fill yourself with value, and value comes with a bunch of knowledge. But how you apply the knowledge means the most. So making sure that you're able to articulate that to your audience, letting them know that you have a lot of questions, and don't be afraid to give out a lot of information. Right. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, if it's a service, if it's a product, my apologies, or a building or something, then you want to go ahead and have it where you have these individuals doing like pop-up shops, or have certain influencers that are connected to bring them in, and they're going to bring the people in. You just got to be able. It all really boils down to connecting. I kid you not. It's going to be hard to draw a lot of traffic by yourself. You got to be able to collab a lot.
Agreed. So speaking on that collab piece right there. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So if I'm a small business owner, right, and you're saying collab, now it really becomes a matter of short game versus long game, right? Mm-hmm. Short game meaning I don't collab. Like you said, I go about it my way. Right. However long that may take me to get to my destination. I may save some money in the short term, but I'll lose a lot of opportunities in the long term, right? Whereas what you're saying, if you're in a position where you're able to collab and really understand your target audience and work with these experts, subject matter experts, to your point, that can provide value and help complement your business, now you're playing the long-term game where you're going to have that opportunity to scale and dive into other areas. So I definitely think which a lot of these small business owners, they don't really understand that, you can either play the short game, but that long term is not going to help your business grow, right? And we want continuity. You want that. If your business isn't constantly growing, at some point it's going to reach that threshold, and then you're not going to have a business at all.
Correct. Like, if you're a realtor, right? A realtor, and I did credit. Even if you just started out and I just started out, we can partner together. Mm-hmm. Right. So sometimes there's individuals that may not have the capital. Mm-hmm. Like I'll talk to you because we always talk to the 99%ers, right?
Right.
So there's some that may not have the capital. There's people that are starting out in an industry that they can dwell in. People know that, hey, they're great at understanding houses. Then there's individuals that do credit and they're great at credit. The collaboration. You can grow together and that gets you there faster, mm-hmm. right? We'll use Selfie World. There's photographers that need backgrounds. They're trying to find, where do I need to go? Why are we not connecting and being friends with them on social media?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there can be beginning photographers and they're finding their audience, or people that come into selfie world and be like, hey, it would be dope if you had a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Collaboration. So you don't have to have a lot of money. You just got to understand people that may not be in your industry but need your industry.
So I think, and kind of segueing into that, for the most part, kind of summarize everything we're talking here. There are pretty much three most important pieces, and I would love to hear your perception on this, right?
Mhm.
Because I know you've worked in sales and marketing, and that's your sweet spot. So, from my experience and some of the salespeople I've come across, some of the sales jobs that I've taken on, there are typically three main pillars for these, which is always going to be how your leads are being established, what's your conversion rate from those leads, and ultimately, how are you closing the sale? And is that sale leading to you being led to in the reference, right? Because especially when you're dealing in sales, you're not just focused on that experience you're providing to that individual. You're hoping that by the experience you're providing there, that can be leveraged into 5 more clients or 10 more clients or 15 more clients, because we all know nothing travel references are the strongest when it's coming from a friend, right? So if I say, hey, Malcolm, this is a great software to use for X, Y, and Z, you might consider that more than a stranger knocking on your door saying, hey, I got this software. Are you interested in buying? So what are your thoughts on that, especially having that strong sales background?
So number one, you said finding the lead.
Yep.
So number one,
just find the leads.
Finding the lead is ideal. You could make it easier, right? Mm-hmm. That comes with the collaboration side of it. Mm-hmm. But then the next one is, you was closing the sale, or
it was conversion. So from the leads to conversion to sale, so finalizing the sale.
So to me, I combine conversion and finalizing kind of the same together. The reason why is because you're not going to keep sending someone to me, mm-hmm. and then they don't end up doing nothing. Right. So I need to be very knowledgeable. Right. If you see yourself at, like, say, out of 10 people, only 2 are saying yes. Most people say great. I don't. I'm looking at like 4 to 5, and I know that's a high number. But the reason is if you're only doing 2, mm-hmm. I would go back and look at, all right, what am I bringing to the table? Mm-hmm. Like, look at, and this is where you pay for knowledge. What do I not know? And then asking these questions, right? If those other 8 do not move forward, don't be afraid to ask questions. Hey, what made you not move forward today? Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because you want to find out if there's a repeat thing. If there is, which most likely there is, you need to work on that. Right? You need to work on that. Now, those that do end up saying yes and moving forward, he's 100%. I'm with you 100%. Most of my success didn't come from just the leads or the closing, right? It came from the people that I closed and them bringing people back to back. Mm-hmm. Like, even like when I talk to someone, I talk to them like family, and I build a relationship. Like now, there's clients I had 5 years ago. Hey, how you doing? And that's when I worked for a whole nother company. But what are you doing now? Oh, my cousin would love to do that. Boom, I'm on the phone with a cousin. I really don't have to sell them. I just got to be like who I was to the person before, and deals closed. Once you master the relationship, everything will follow. Your business will flourish. But you have to get the lead. You have to convert. Like, grabbing leads, it's just like,
you can cold call to do that. That doesn't generate anything.
It's like when my uncles when they had the black book, mm-hmm. they just got numbers, but they can't really use it because the girls ain't. They're like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, when you had that black book, you knew who to hit up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But we're all serious. When you have the leads, you gotta convert. Because like you said, you can just cold call and just, let me go into Yellow Pages. Y'all know what that is.
Yep.
And just pinpoint, right? But when you start converting, building those relationships right there are going to make or break your business, because the referrals, I kid you not. I kid you not.
So, first of all, definitely a lot of jewels you just gave there, right? And I don't think people really understand like the depths that you really, kind of hinted at a little bit more. But for the most part, it's like, from what I'm hearing, right, from the outside looking in, it's really about maximizing and optimizing those opportunities, right? Like you said, it's not just about making that one sale.
Right.
It's about providing that experience that'll lead to 5 more sales, right? I think so many times, especially dealing with sales, because I've done in sales, I've had doors slammed in my face. Very frustrating business, but it also can be very lucrative.
Yeah.
If I believe you have the mindset that you're talking about, where it's like you're making the most of every opportunity. Like you said, you don't have to close every deal, but when you don't close those deals, what value are you getting out of that to improve on your approach?
Absolutely.
And I think, I agree with you on that. I think a lot of people get so caught up, and a lot of people don't get into sales because of that fear of no. But, someone told me this, a friend of mine, God rest his soul, he said, no just stands for next opportunity.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So next opportunity meaning, you may not sell me, but like you said, if I continue to ask you questions, that only helps me grow. That only helps my pitch improve. That only helps me closing improve. That only helps my conversion rate improve, because you're telling me on the experience that you got from your eyes and where it was lacking at. And then from there, you can work on it. But if you're afraid to be friends with no, you're never going to be able to move forward, because you're so worried about just making that one sale. You're not thinking about the long-term game.
Right. Someone told me that, and sometimes I do this, but a lot of times I just think everyone's going to say yes. And if they say no, that's why I'm so good at, all right, tell me why you said no. But before, someone's like, always expect no and be surprised when you get a yes. And at first I was like, okay, until I'm very big on mindset.
Yeah,
I'm very big on mindset. And I noticed when I was thinking that way, my sales, my company, everything was just like,
you manifested your thoughts. So you manifested no, so no was the end result.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I get where they were coming from, because they were, so you have different salespeople.
Right.
You have those that just don't care about people, and they just gonna lie to you. And you have people like me. I care. Like, I'll tell you this is not for you, and I'll pull an opportunity that I know is for you away from you, because you're not mentally ready.
Right.
But everything is a yes, and the reason why, if they say no, you find out why they say no. Oh, tell me why you say no. So I mean, nothing against you. Like, why did you say no?
In fact, let's give them a demo right now.
Oh yeah, let's go.
All right. So I guess I'm the client.
Yeah.
And you hit me with your sell pitch. Give these 99%. See you live and in person.
What are we gonna sell? Hey, Quan. Or Saquon. Sorry.
Yeah. He know me personally. Don't worry about that. You're good, brother.
Hey, sir.
How are you? It sounds weird though. Right?
Yeah. So I noticed you actually have a bunch of whiteboards, but the markers that you're using, they dry out quite often. You were telling me, right?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
All right. So what do you normally do with that?
I mean, honestly, man, it's such a hassle. I just usually go back and buy more markers. I mean, it definitely costs a lot.
What does that look like within the week of markers you purchase?
Within the week, I'm probably going back to the store at least 2 times a week.
2 times?
Yeah.
How much, like, per?
Am I spending?
Yeah.
Probably, maybe, if I want some good markers, maybe between $8 to $10 for a pack.
For a pack?
Yeah.
So basically, what, 16 to 20?
Yeah.
A week?
Yeah.
And you work, like, you do a lot of vacation? Or?
Yeah. I don't do a lot of vacation, but I teach a lot of online classes, right? So that's why I run out with so much, ink and stuff on my markers, where I have to go and replenish them.
Man, so I know where I live at, the closest store is probably like 4 miles away from my house. How close is the store that you go to?
Roughly about probably 7 miles, 8 miles, there and back.
You live in the city or the country? Like
city.
So traffic?
Yeah, traffic plus parking, right?
So what, like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes there, 30 minutes back,
hour? Yep.
So if you go twice, that's basically 2 hours out of your...
2 hours out of my day.
How much do you, with the markers and teaching, how much do they normally pay you hourly?
Hourly, probably 20, 22 an hour. So roughly $45K salary.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing this side business on, teaching online. So, I need these markers because that allows me to kind of demonstrate and really display what I'm trying to, teach.
Man, I feel you. I feel you. So I know you're a family man as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but those hours kind of hit deep, especially when you got to come back. You're taking 2 hours away from the family.
Yeah.
Now you're putting 2 hours back into what you're doing. So that's really 4 hours you take away from the family.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it like that. I've got somewhat of a routine right now, so
Yeah.
I don't really give it too much thought.
Routines can be broken if it manifests a better life.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, I got a. I don't know if it's for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be real. I don't know if it's for you. I know it'll help you.
Okay.
I don't know if it's for you. I actually have a marker that is endless. It doesn't run out.
Okay.
Right. And what it does is it has it where you can get your time back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something cheap, but it's worth it. Right.
What are we talking about?
So this marker is only $200.
$200?
I feel you, but hear me out. You actually, if you do the math, within a month's time, you're losing more than 200. You just don't think of it that way.
Okay, I see your point.
All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get you this marker due to the fact that your time is valuable not only to your business, but to your family, if I'm right or wrong.
You're right. My wife does hassle me about to spend more time with the kids.
So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get you this marker. I don't want to waste much of your time because you did say it's valuable.
Right.
So let's go ahead and get what color? Black, red, or purple?
The $200. So I'm spending about $20. Like I said, between $8 and $10. So roughly about $20 a week on markers. And you're telling me to spend $200. How long is this marker going to last?
So it is endless, but you just said it yourself. So you basically $80 a month, which is only $120 away from the $200. So you don't take much vacation. The hours that you're getting back can be accumulated to vacation, and plus you're saving money within 3 months' time, 90 days. I mean, I'm pretty sure your business within those time frames will make way more than 200.
You know what? That don't sound like a bad deal. Let me get it in black.
Let's go.
All right. Now, y'all see that, right? Y'all see that? That was a perfect example of, I'm not even telling you something. Hey, you have a problem, right? You identify the problem, which was, hey, I run out of markers, right? I run out of markers fast. Second thing was, okay, you run out of markers. How much time, right? I didn't even see him going. He did this masterfully. I don't know if you guys really people he did. So we went from talking about markers, right, to not spending time with my family, to having to spend money on gas, to having to spend time going to the store and coming back to the store, and not to mention how much I'm spending on these markers a month, right? So whereas he could have easily, like he said, if I wasn't focused on the experience and believing in what I'm telling you, if he would have focused on me telling him no and saying, man, that's too expensive, which typically is the first and most popular rejection, you would have stopped there. But he kept digging, you keep asking questions. And when you're able to do that, you identify that the person will tell you what their concerns are or what's stopping them from moving forward. You just have to articulate yourself, and this applies to any business format, how to get past that challenge and let them understand the value that they're bringing is worth more than what's in their pocket. Any closing thoughts on that?
No, I'm with you 100%. It's just
he usually charged for that too. He gave that to y'all for free. Just saying.
Just asking questions. A lot of times we, as a business, I wouldn't say a salesperson, we make it about us. It's not about us. What can help change that person's life? If I made it about me, if I would have been like, oh, if I even started with the marker before he would have never told me, hey, it takes this long. I have a family. His wall would have been up. Now let's talk about you.
Right.
When you start talking about that person as a business, don't think sales, as a business. If you have because we're dealing with selfie world upcoming.
Yep.
Selfie world. When you're dealing with stuff like, hey, boom, find out why. It makes everything so much easier to sell this.
Yep. All right, so now kind of pivoting into scaling, right? So we kind of went over identifying your industry niche, understanding your approach,
right?
Understanding, how you convert the sale, how do you identify your customers, how to identify your leads, how to deal with challenges, which that example we did, which, by the way, again, you did a great job. He usually charged for that. He did that for free. So now we're going to talk about the last part, right, which is really scaling, right? And before we jump into this, a quote that always intrigues me is, intention follows disruption, right?
Gotcha.
So when I first heard this, and someone broke this down to me, simply what it means is anything that you're bringing new to the market is going to automatically disrupt the industry, right? So, for example, a good example would be you could use Netflix, or to keep it more relevant in today's world, podcasting, right?
Oh yeah.
So with podcasting, right, that opened up a whole nother segment within the media space, right, in entertainment industry altogether, right? You got all type of podcasts now on different platforms. So because of that outlet, you have less people. If you know, it's like Draymond. Draymond's a good example. You have this basketball player, right? But at one point in time, they were only known for basketball. Now they're divvying into other industries where he has a podcast. He has, multimedia deals simply off of his intention of wanting to control their own narrative as athletes. So, speak a little bit on what that phrase means to you first, and then we can talk more a little bit more about, the scaling and how to really utilize that 10x formula.
So attention follows disruption.
Yep.
Man, to me personally, what that looks like is someone that's throwing something out there that people are not ready for, but they're going to have to get ready. I know you're about to use the same example you had used before, Blockbuster. All right. But like you said, podcast, a lot of individuals when it first started, they're like, oh man, these cats just up here just talking.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
Right.
Now it gives them an outlet. Right. When I heard it, when you just said it, I think I heard it before, but first time really, really paying attention to it is when you just said it. And I was like, man, I'm about to go to my social media and let them know that some ish about to pop off.
Right.
But it's just basically throwing something out there that people are not ready for, but they got to get ready. That's what I think of it.
Okay. So now that, like you said, that intention of bringing something new to the market, right? One thing that most people think about is, okay, well, my first thought, if I'm a small business owner, is, okay, what's my business, right? Identifying that product or service, and at some point, how am I planning on scaling this, right? Because ultimately, if you're getting into business for yourself, the end goal should be able to be a couple things. One, to be able to have profit. Two, to be able to dictate your own schedule. And four, I would say. Three, be able to scale your product. And obviously, the last one is being able to have that business run efficiently without you actually being there, right? That's where that making money in your sleep comes into place, right? Yeah. That's the end goal, I think, for every entrepreneur, is to get to the point where they have enough financial income coming in that they're not even worried about money. And at that point, they're just looking at different opportunities that they're actually passionate about. So when it comes to that 10x formula, right, what do you feel like are some of the most pivotal things? Because obviously, I think a lot of people get this misconstrued when they hear 10x, from Grant Cardone and things like that. They think so granular, and it's really simple, right? You don't, and I feel like a mentor of mine broke this down. You don't focus on 100% of the ideas that you're doing. Like you said, you focus on the 10%, and this deals with, like you said, understanding your audience. You deal with that target audience that is going to be so beneficial to what you're providing value-wise, and then you grow upon that. So what do you, from your opinion, do you agree with that? What is your definition of when you hear 10x? What's your approach when you hear that?
So my approach is basically, to be real with you, looking at it from an aspect of people learn differently, right? So I feel like a lot of times business owners only align with how they feel that it's right. But looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, you can have a store, but then you also can put into a book on how to run a store just like your store. And you also can go on podcasts and talk about how to do these things. You know what? You can also have a course that now you break down the ins and outs. You know what also you can do?
What's that?
Outside of podcasts, you can have learning educational things on YouTube and get paid for it. So there's a lot of different things that you could really 10x just your business, from simplifying it to the masses instead of just to a small learning audience. If that makes sense, or a certain way of learning. That's how I look at it from that. There's other ways of doing it, but I think that takes it to like 11 or 12x.
So, yeah, agreed. So my next question is, now that we're talking about scaling, what do you feel like is the ideal situation or opportunity to decide to scale your business, right? Because that comes with risk too. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have a Chick-fil-A. Well, not Chick-fil-A. That's really a popular brand. But let's say you have a store, right? And this store in this one particular area is doing really well, right? In this demographic. Let's say Orlando, right? But now you want to branch out to Tampa. Now, granted, they have similar demographics, but you may not necessarily know that environment, and it may not be as high as the demand, right, for the product or service that you're offering for that demographic. So what are some of the key indicators that you look at and say, now it's time to scale, or maybe we need to relook and do some more research to find the proper demographic to establish that next branch or that next opportunity to scale?
So I'm make sure I'm on the same page, because my mind went this way with it, and the right way. But so you're saying if it's killing, so say if Roy Sneakers are killing it in Orlando, right?
Right. Okay.
But he's looking to take it to Tampa. The reason why he's killing in Orlando, I would say what he should do, or what most likely he's doing, the reason why he's killing it, because he understands that audience.
Right.
Right. So in reference, what I would do is find a Quan that's in Tampa,
right?
That him and I let's meet, right? That understands the audience, and we converse about what we're looking for, and what that does for Roy is finding what his audience here is and what it will be there. Doing the footwork, breaking. You don't even have to do the footwork; you just connect to the right people, but understanding what they're looking for, and then doing like test things, test runs. Breaking it down on the simplicity side, simplifying it. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Right. But it definitely, to answer your question, to scale any business is basically, bro, I can't even simplify it even more.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Finding that same audience, but making sure that the trends and everything are aligned in there, doing different tests. You could take a business from Orlando and you could take it to Texas, but you still you can't do it alone.
Right.
You can't do it. So talk to me, because I want to make sure I'm following you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So I think it's a couple things. I think, and it kind of goes over the topic of some of the talking points we had during this episode is, first things first, you got to identify your particular product, right? And I think that's important, because you have to understand that the product or service that you're providing has to resonate with your target audience, right? Regardless if they're in Orlando or Tampa, right? That's first. Then I think, to your point, once you're able to do your research and say, okay, there's a demand for this in this market, right? Because ultimately that's what it is, right? You have a market in Orlando, you have a market in New York, you have a market in Tampa. You have these different markets. Then the third question I think I would ask, or I would contemplate, is, okay, what is my competitors, right? Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to set up this sneaker shop, right, in a place called New York City, right?
Right.
One, because it's already saturated, and two, there's probably already a high enough demand being met. So for you to get into that particular market, it would take a lot, right? So then you got to leverage those type of components, I believe, and then say, okay, you know what? I could set up, like you said, I could set up in Tampa. Let me go collab with this guy. He already has a sneaker shop, but he doesn't have my sneakers. He doesn't have the product that I offer. Maybe we can find some collab, and then I think through those relationships, what you'll discover is commonalities, right? Commonalities between the people that you're servicing in Tampa, people that you're servicing in Orlando, et cetera, et cetera. And you build your brand off of that. And that's how you are able to scale into different locations and really get the most value out of it.
Yeah, so I agree, but then I have something else.
Go ahead.
You remember Black Ink?
Yeah, the tattoo shop. Yeah.
So in New York, or where they were, they were killing it. They came out to Florida.
Oh, did they?
Bro, see?
I didn't even know. I'm from you. That's terrible.
See? They came. They were out here. They had a crew out here. They had crews different
different states. Yeah.
You didn't hear much about them.
Yeah, they couldn't replicate the success.
You didn't hear it. So there are times when trying to scale and not understand. See, that's what I'm saying. The cops are coming at you when you don't know how to scale your business correctly. So trying to scale and not understanding the difference. Yeah, so we'll just use Black Ink. A lot of their clients were high end, but on New York were high end.
Right.
But that was there.
Right.
Here in Florida, it wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
It was the name, but people really wasn't
gravitating to
it, right?
Yeah.
They thought we're and we have the hood, right? We have the hood, blah blah blah. Everyone gonna deal with us. No,
Yeah.
no. So understand it. So if you have sneakers, taking it from Florida to New York may not be ideal because you know what I mean. I don't know if
different market. Yeah.
The Timbs and the Uptowns. You know what I mean. Here they're wearing
thong slippers, thong flip flops.
You're disrespectful.
With the toes out.
You're disrespectful. Oh, you disrespectful. Oh,
hey, listen.
I don't even want to talk no more.
I'm good. Hey, listen.
I don't even want to
if
talk
y'all
no
listen to
more.
this, I'm guilty of that too. Listen, I came from up north, man. I got a couple of partners, man. They converted me too, man. They got me out here in the thong slippers too. You do that. Well, thank you again for joining the channel. Hope you enjoy the content. Again, we out here. You know, the goal of our show really is to build that bridge from the 1%ers to the 99 percentile. And we want to say thank you. If you like the context, you enjoy the conversation, like, subscribe, share to everyone you know, because this information is only as powerful as the people that we give it to. So again, thank you for that, and we'll see y'all later.